We got our ECU here finally from Link. All the instructions and everything comes with it. So pretty nice. Overall, pretty straightforward. But I need to take this out and then transfer this over to the old one. So we'll take this out of its carriage and then we'll transfer over the Link one and put it in there. This is an open box deal, so kind of worked out pretty nice. But comes with a 7-bar sensor, map sensor, so should be pretty cool. All right, cool. So we have the Link ECU. Just pull it out real quick so we can get some glamour shots and see what we're working with here. So we got the ECU, we got our CAN bus connector, we have all of our connection pieces, all the stuff for the expansion on the side. Here, let me rotate this real quick. So this is version 1.4, CAN 2 OBD, because it does work for 1.82, but I only have 1.6. Hey man. Open box deal. So with that comes the tuning cable as well to plug up to your laptop. I bought a $200 Microsoft tablet. Seems to work pretty well, and it has a USB plug on it. So most importantly, I can plug it in, tune it, should be set. So like I said, we just need to take the old ECU out. Pretty much going to give you the step-by-step on all this of installing the Link ECU itself. So we'll take this out, put the old one somewhere else, and then put the Link ECU inside of this, and then we should be set to go through the rest of the configuration items and check things off the list. But it's going to use an IAT for intake air temps. It's going to use a map sensor that's built in, and I think that's pretty much it. So let's get into it. Now there are screws on both sides to this. I'm not sure which side to take off first, so we'll just kind of go through it and probably take it off from this side and start working our way back. Once you take all the screws off on one side, you should be able to just lift this thing up. There we go. Nothing underneath it. Whole thing here. Looks like we still have some more screws that we need to take out. So we'll take these out and then we should be able to soon lift this straight out of here. So let's get to it. So we got all the little screws out here. It comes out pretty well left side, not on the right side, but that's because there's probably 2 screws right here on the side. So I'm going to take these out, see if we can get it to lift out. And make sure you have a really good screwdriver to get these out. You'll have to apply some pressure to get it on there and get the nuts to, or I guess the screws to break loose. But yeah, just make sure you have a good screwdriver so you're not stripping these small little copper head pieces. So we got the 2 little small ones out from the side. And now we should be able to just lift this out. Nice, empty shell, stock ECU. So if anybody needs a stock ECU, let me know. Otherwise, this will probably just go up on the shelf somewhere. And just like that, sits right into place. Stock OEM location. All the holes line up where they're supposed to. We just need to make a clearance for this on the other side of this, or just clear up some room on the back portion of this to make sure this cable can come through with ease. So we'll have to do that before we can close this thing all the way up, but we can at least sandwich it in. And if you're wondering if those that were in here originally are still needed, they are not. The stock one has a mounting bracket on the side, so this one does not, so you shouldn't need it. All these should be plenty, more than enough to keep it secure in there. So good. And I need to flip this upside down. All right, now that we're in the garage, flip this over to put it on the correct side. And then what we pretty much need to do is go through the process of, 1, not only putting it where it needs to actually live, but 2, marking where this cable is going to come out so we can make a little out of it, and then yeah, make sure we got space for it. So let's knock that out real quick. And we finally get to use the new bandsaw. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, like so, broken off. That should be more than enough for the cable itself. And then, yeah, let's slap this ECU in there, shall we?
Zeteo again, bitch.
Looking good. Cut through. Now we can bolt it all the way down, and then we should be set to close the case. And of course, put our link sticker on there. Let's go. And we're in there. So I still have the expansion board and a couple other things I have coming for this. So really, right now, it's just putting it in the case just so it's kind of secure, not floating around. I'll put the lid on after I'm done with everything. But for now, we'll leave it as it is, and then we should be ready to throw it in the car and hook it up. All right, cool. So we got our tablet that we got set up with everything, and we have our link connected now. So we just need to hook up this to that, and then we can turn it to the on position and see what we get. So let's go for it. All right, let's see what we get. So I'm just supposed to turn it to the on position. Nice. So it's just asking for the unlock code. That sounds like the car is freaking out at the same time. So, cool. Looks like it's giving us some basic parameters of everything. Nice. Okay, cool. So what you're gonna do is you're essentially gonna go to ECU controls once you're in it. Touchscreen is terrible. There we go. And then you'll go to ECU unlock. And if your ECU is connected and it's picked it up, it should bring your code and hit unlock to unlock your ECU so you can start tuning. And then once you've unlocked it successfully, it will give you ECU connected. And you can get in and start making all your changes. Okay, so went through, since the 1.6 doesn't have a variable TPS sensor, I had to put a BMW one in, so I had to. This is an old one, that one's not working. This is a working one. So overall, the original, let's see if I can get it to focus here. The original TPS location is volt 1, but I changed it to volt 10, which is what's on the expansion board, which is also volt 10 down there. Pull up a diagram just to show you guys a little bit better. But overall, change it to 10, set the values to the same as volt 1, and then, yeah, it seemed like it was able to work. So now we basically are running wires directly from the ECU. Green is ground, red is power, 5-volt power, and then yellow is the signal. So everything just goes right to the factory connections. I'm gonna get rid of these little butt connectors and then just splice it in directly, run it through the car, get it all the way out. That way we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, so now that we have it set here, come back down here. So now we can see that it moves, but it doesn't sit at 100. So we'll go ahead and set it to fully open throttle. Just open, put you guys down for a second just so I can hit OK. So now it sits at 0. Full throttle, 0, full throttle. So now we have variable TPS in the 1.6 Miata all over again. And just so you know, it definitely requests you to have a TPS since it doesn't have one. Or just have the on-off switch for the 1.6. So you need to have a variable. Not a big deal, but yeah, there's that. And then the next thing is for the starter. Pretty much this will go over if you want to pause it and read it, or if you just want to get your own, it'll read it. It'll give you the instructions that comes with it. But we pretty much need to find a way to activate the fuel pump because right now it doesn't turn on. So we're going to do it the way we're aux 11. We'll go to this MAF fuel pump wire, and then we'll go ahead and just, yeah, run that straight across from the expansion loom, and we should be good. Okay, so for the fuel pump for 1.6, this is a 1.4 board. For link, I used ignition focus, the third one down, ignition 7. So then I went into ECU or into the pink PC link, went to type in fuel, went to fuel pump control. Fuel pump control, you're changing and basically just choosing what you want your relay output to be. So I use fuel pump relay output 7. So you can, there's a bunch of options when you go through here. Oh my goodness, bunch of options. There we go. Flash is still on. A bunch of options that are in here, but I use 7 just to make it easy, and that was on the expansion board, so I don't need to do any additional wiring or any cutting or anything. I just hooked that up out of the car all the way over to my cut diagnostics, or not diagnostics, but for the old fuel pump wire. So that's for the math that used to be there that I no longer use because I use an IAT, but that way you can hook it up, don't need to cut anything additional, and can just use the factory wires. Now I just need to basically run the connections, or run the wires through the car for the TPS and for the fuel pump relay, and then we'll be set. I was gonna start cutting wires, but I was like, I feel like there's a better way to do it, so that's the way I did it. Hopefully it works out for somebody else in here too. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier, for the IAT, you're gonna need to chop into your diagnostics box. I think that line, let's see, where did it go? It's right here. I don't know which one specifically it's using, but it's definitely chopped, so just look it up before you go to install that. Should be pretty easy to put in. So last thing I did is just change the prime time from 3 seconds to default to 2, and you can do turn on test. It'll just run continuously, or you can have it set to low, not low, sorry. You can leave it off and then save it to the ECU. Just ECU controls. This touchscreen is difficult sometimes. Store to ECU, performing store completed. So that way when I turn the car off, turn it back on, you should hear the fuel pump prime. There we go, nice. So now we got the fuel pump done. Now we just need to set the timing and we should be set. Oh, and quick note for the 1.6 boys, once again, this bottom line where we need to change the fuel setup from sequential, because that's what it's defaulted to in here. For sequential, we're going to change that to multi-point group and then set the active drivers to 1 and 2. So let me put this down and then we'll knock this out real quick together. So we'll go to sequential, we'll double tap that. We'll go to multi-point group, hit OK. And then active drivers, it auto set itself to 1 and 2, so we should be good on that side. All right, so it's time to get the base timing set and going on this. So we got the tablet and we are in the base configuration. So you'll basically go down to triggers and then you'll hit calibrate. That'll take you to this screen. And then you can hit the base map section and that will take you right into that screen we were just in. So we'll tap that. Cool. So now we're in here. So we're locking the ignition time into 10 degrees. And that way when we look down here on our map here, I already have it marked on the white. One of them is 10 degrees. One of them is where it's currently sitting at least with a megasquirt. So we will go ahead and try and hit 10 degrees real quick. We'll get the timing light and everything set up that I have sitting over there again. And yeah, because I have coil unplugged. So I'll show you that real quick. And if you're 1.6, make sure your ignition mode is set to wasted spark. So you'll go to ECU settings, ignition main, open it up. Make sure this is set to wasted spark and falling spark edge. Everything else, change the spark duration because I'm running cops. Feel free to do the same if you'd like. But yeah, set it to falling instead of rising. Pretty straightforward there. You should be set. All right, so we have our coil unplug out. This is the OEM Mazda piece, just with the end cut off and stripped. So that way we can just plug this into here. It's not gonna fully seat or anything. You can hear a little click a little bit because it's magnetized slightly, but we'll put this in there. Slide you in here. Just try and get it to a location that's good enough to where it shouldn't fall off, because we're not gonna be driving like this. We're just running it for a few minutes just to get our timing settings. So that checks out. So everything's at top dead center, which is perfect. It's in time. We're good to go there. Now we just need to take it out of the locked into 10, and then it should just fire up, hopefully. Yeah. And we still need to put our TPS back on, took it off because I want to find a better mounting solution, or I may get another TPS. It's the BMW one, and this is a skunk intake mount or throttle body. So it's a little different as far as bolt patterns go, but we may figure something out. We did the trigger calibration, so we're good there on that side. Now we did the first startup. Now we just need to take some stuff out and check the fuel main, which is pretty much going to control how much fuel is being added. Okay, cool. So going through the first startup stuff, TPS is not connected. We'll probably hook that up here in a minute. The map sensor is currently says it should read about 101 kPa if you're using metric. Mine, I changed it to metric, it was like 96, so I'm at 14 psi, 14.1 give or take. So I calibrated again and it's still there, so we should be okay. ECTs should read current engine temperature, looks like it is 123. IATs 95, which is, it's just hot outside. From there, and then we can go to the fuel, master fuel settings. So, okay, there we go. So we're in ECU settings, we went to fuel, we're gonna go to fuel setup. There we go. That is injector setup, I don't need that. Main fuel, main right? Yeah, cool. So we're in main fuel. So now I think this is the part where we really just need to play with it. I didn't see any formula or anything online, so it sounds like we just need to adjust it a little bit. But currently it is set to 16 milliseconds. So we're gonna lower that to like 10 just to see what it does. But I also need to lower my fuel pressure regulator because it's a little higher than 40 right now. So might be part of the reason it's running a little rich. But yeah, let's play around with it real quick. Let's change this to 10 and see what we got. And I just put the TPS sensor on, which is why it's now 36. So we'll have to recalibrate that real quick with ECU controls, TPS settings. Okay, and then it tells you to press the throttle to fully open. Boop, all the way open. Okay, closed, closed. Okay, perfect. So we got that set. Close enough. Because I was pushing really hard. Cool, so we have that. So now let's try and fire it up again, shall we? Way better. Oh. Holy crap. That throttle response is crazy. No RPMs. I probably could run a new connection to that, but dude, we're out here running right now up the Linky. Let's go. Okay. Give it a little time to warm up here, see what it does. But yeah, I set it to 10. Everything else is in here, and it seems like it's idling really, really well on its own. So very, very happy with that. Still got some bugs to work out. And that's going to be it for this one as far as the startup, getting everything set up with the LinkEcu on a 1.6 Miata. Yeah, man, we're there. So like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more content. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.